You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
We don't roll in official anymore, Jose. We just start going because you're now conformed to Out of the Blank podcast.
All right.
So what's up? What's going on with you? It's been a while.
Not much, man. Just been working a lot. I just came back from Mexico.
How was Mexico, dude?
It was actually a lot of fun.
A lot of drugs?
More or less.
The good stuff or the
No.
bad stuff?
All the good stuff.
Okay.
None of that bad stuff. No, I think, gosh, I drank so much tequila when I was there. You know, Mexican weed ain't bad, too.
Yeah, I love how you said, like, I drink so much tequila. And let me tell you something about Mexican weed. That's, wait, okay, so how, is it more potent? What is it?
No, like, all right, so, like, every year we're used to all the medical shit now, like, all the pretty-looking, flowery stuff.
Doped up, kind of.
Over there, it's, like, dark green, but when you crack it open, it just looks so pretty, and, like, I think I took, like, 2 bowl hits, and I was really high. Like, surprisingly.
Did you experience anything different on it than you were here?
Nah, I mean, I just, honestly, it felt more like I was, like, doped up instead of high. Like, I
In
felt
a good
more,
way or a bad way?
like, in a good way.
Because you say
like,
like Mexico weed, immediately I think of like that dirt weed, like that real shit weed, like the one you don't want. Like someone gives you a thing, it's called the Snickle Fritz or something like that. Like that's what I think of.
no, well, like it looked odd, but then like once you like actually cracked it open and looked at it, it looked better inside. But honestly, it was probably just because it was older or something. But no, it just felt more like it was more like a CBD high, I guess. Like I just wanted to sit down and like
More
not
relaxing
do
type
anything.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know the whole thing though nowadays because like there's so many different things that people are diving into now. It's like you hear about Mexico, the first thing you think of is like cocaine or something like Colombian type shit. I'm like,
yeah.
Did you see any of that down there?
Yeah. That it's crazy, honestly. Like all the drug dealers just chilling in the street. Like you walk up to them on a busy street and they don't give a fuck. They'll just serve you up right there.
Is it because police have no authority there?
No, they do. They have plenty of authority. The thing is just that like they're in with the police. Is the thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like the police will just pay them no mind or whatever.
What were some things you thought were like different being over there
Different.
besides the weed and really good tequila?
The streets, like literally everything's so like.
Are you? If you say clean, I'm gonna freak out because
No,
I
no.
can't picture Mexico being clean. Sadly, from what we've seen.
Well, in that area from where I went, it's not really that clean. It's like a really big city. Like it's gained like twice that population in the last like 20 years or something like that.
You also went to a tourist spot, I'm guessing too.
Huh?
You were in like a tourist area.
No.
You weren't confined to a certain because there's apparently certain parts of Mexico like that are all like tourist up. That's where people go and visit if you're gonna go like hotels and stuff.
Well, no, because I went to visit family. I didn't go for vacation.
Oh shit! So you
Yeah.
saw the other side of it too.
Yeah, I mean that is Mexico. Like the other side would be
Regular
tourist
Mexico,
area.
yeah, but a bunch of people only know like you think of Hollywood.
When
You think
people think Mexico, they think of like, oh, let's go to Cancun or like let's fucking
like beach paradise. I'm like,
pretty
no,
areas.
it's not that. It's
Nah,
not that at
it's
all.
not
There's a
that
whole
pretty.
other side.
Yeah.
You see the glamorous side they show in public, but it's like working in a hotel. You see the dirty side of people when you go and change their room and
That's
everything like
right.
that.
No, but the thing that I really noticed, like, there are no lanes, so everyone just drives wherever the fuck they want, and that's crazy. Because like literally,
That's crazy how we think it's crazy though, because if you think of it, they know how to work around each other. Like we don't do that anymore. We have fucking rules we have to go by.
you see, that's the thing. Like, I feel like if you're accustomed to drive like here in Ocean City or something like that, like if you went over there and drive, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like people
everybody,
over there,
this
they
is
drive so aggressively.
this is anarchy.
Literally.
Where are
If
the
you don't-
lines on the
If you
road?
don't start accelerating like fucking a millisecond before the light even turns green, they already start honking at you from like 6 cars behind because somebody's pissed. Like,
Do you think someone from here could drive down there?
Huh?
Do you think someone from here could drive down there like
I mean,
easy?
it depends on the driver. If you're like already an aggressive driver, then you'd love it down there.
Is that all it is aggression?
Yeah, because like everyone drives so fast, there are really no speed limits. Because like the cops could pull you over for a speed limit thing, and you could just pay them 500 pesos and they walk away.
Now, this isn't racist, but did you enjoy a taco down there? Like a real authentic taco?
Fuck yes.
How different is it from food, like the Mexican food we have here?
I
feel like here's way too Americanized.
Well, I mean, that's like the appeal of it around here. Like, it's got to be Americanized, I feel. But, like, gosh, over there, you could go to, like, the taco stand and order 200 tacos for the price of, like, $40.
What?
Yeah.
Now, is it, like, does it taste fresher? Taste better?
Honestly, in a way, yeah. Like, it's just like different spices and stuff.
It's like a placebo effect, it sounds like.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. For anything, it might even just be the same stuff, but it's just the way it tastes over there is different to me.
How long were you down there for?
I was only down there for a few days. I was there for like maybe 5 days, I think.
You were in Honduras, weren't you?
No. I was in this place called Matamoros.
Matamoros?
It's right off the border of Texas. So it's like...
oh, so you were right there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a place called Tamaulipas. It's like...
How hard was it for you to get through the border? I feel like it's not hard at all to get through, but then once trying to get back in, it's a little difficult.
Surprisingly not.
Really?
Like, usually...
You had an easy pass?
Huh? No, not
so
even.
we could slide right through?
No one has an easy pass for the border.
No.
Everyone
complains about immigration. I'm like, no, fucking easy pass right there, bro.
No, like, to get over, it's nothing. Like, it's not hard to sneak into Mexico or nothing like that. Like,
yeah, there are not too many people wanting to go into Mexico.
Exactly. But to get back across, you have to have, like, your IDs on you. You have to show them what you have in your car. You have to do all this, whatever. And then even on top of that, like, we brought over, there was like 3 bottles of tequila on the way back when we crossed the border, and they charged us like, it's not much, it's like $2 a bottle, but it's just like, they're like customs fee or whatever.
Ron White, that famous comedian, he gets a lot of his company number Juan tequila. Like, he gets it produced in Mexico. He doesn't do it here. He's like, it's too Americanized here. He likes it over there.
Dude, you got that right there. Some of the, oh my God.
How big of a change is it though? Like, you're talking to someone that's never been out of the United States, so like you're talking.
All right. Some of like the more simple changes that I could really tell was like Doritos. Like the nacho cheese Doritos over here taste one way. Over there they taste completely different.
How so?
They're spicier. They taste a little more like less cheesy and more like boldness. I don't even know how to describe it really.
Fucking advertisement for Doritos right there. Go to Mexico to get your Doritos.
But just, I don't know, it's just the way that they make stuff over there. It's like,
you feel like they put a little bit more time probably into it.
I feel so.
I think it's harder because it's harder to produce things down there. So when they do produce something, they put a lot of effort and time in trying to make sure it's a good product too.
Yeah.
Did you see any graffiti down there?
Tons.
Dude, I'm telling you, that was the one awesome thing about Hawaii when I went, was the graffiti. It was not nasty looking. It was fucking art. Like, you saw that in a whole different form.
Yeah, well, like, there's a lot of graffiti everywhere, but something that I've always found cool since, like, ever since I was a kid is that all these places, they aren't done by, like, they're little shops and stuff that are painted, but they're not done by professionals. They're done by the people that, like, own the shops and shit. And they'll just, like, literally go outside and hand paint everything that they sell and, like, oh, whatever.
I really hate it, like, when you see, like, a business that's, like, getting rid of all the paint that they had on the side of their wall, like graffiti and spray. Any type of place that lives, like, in an urban environment that's not, like, a tourist spot or something that, like, truly cares about the community and doesn't really care about what their building looks like, not to steer people away from it, but it shows character to their building. Like, I've seen places in urban environments where there is a shit ton of graffiti on the side and it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, there was one I saw, it was Stevie Wonder, like his face, and there was just all these like weird colors beaming out of his face and like going, and then people were adding on to it and like doing these things. I'm like, I guarantee you that's something you could easily pay for at an art museum. But the guy was like, fuck it, you want to do it? Go express yourself. Yeah. If I owned a building, I would let people spray paint stuff on it. And I guarantee you that a lot of it would be dicks on there. But the fact is, I want people to be able to also express themselves, because it feels like if I could easily just set out a spray can for you to be able to pick up and run by and just do something. You'll come across some fucking awesome art too.
I'm sure. Someone will come up and so you might get a Banksy on there in Ocean City.
There's some dude's gonna pull up with like a whole kit and everything, like paint the wall white and just start doing it like this. Like, I need the good structure first. It's like, okay, all right.
No, it's like one time next to the Lincoln Theater in DC, I don't know if it'd be considered like graffiti, but it's like street art maybe. But it's just like a bunch of famous black comedians and just like entertainers basically. It had like singers, like it had even like political people. It had Martin Luther King Jr. on there. Like it was just like super pretty, like street art, and it was like the entire side of a building. So it was like super pretty.
It's really weird how it goes in two different lanes. One, someone's either doing something ridiculous and it's seen as harmful, like just spraying something for like gang territory,
Yeah.
and then seen as art in another form.
Yeah.
I'm like, it all depends on the person that kind of takes it, and also the person that decides to put it up there. Like if you just spray paint a dick on a wall, you're kind of an asshole unless you go real detailed into it and draw like the veins of it and
it's
all
like
that.
a super fucking.
It's like, dude, this guy, he had at least spent 8 hours on this. How did no one not see this and stop him?
That'd be crazy. And it reminds me of like there's just one place in Miami. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like basically for just graffiti and like street art, and like you can go out there and like paint your own shit and all that. And there's like some very pretty like stuff. I saw it like on a BuzzFeed video or something like that, but it's like super pretty.
Would you want to go back? Like, do you not like being back here? Like, just kind of, I mean, it's obviously comfort at home, but at the same time, you're kind of like, there was some shit I miss.
For sure. Honestly, I miss family more than I miss just like being over there.
How was it seeing your family?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, every night was just a party. Just because, because it was the first time in a long time that all the family had been over there. So it was like, Friday night was an uncle of mine's birthday party. And the next night was a quinceañera. The next night was another birthday party.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, by the way.
Huh?
I wished you happy birthday at like 1 o'clock in the morning on Facebook, but officially happy birthday.
When? My birthday's in October, homie.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'm fucking confused. Oh my God, I have no clue what I'm saying now. Go on with your story, sir.
Yeah, but birthdays every other day and whatever, and every night was just.
I swear to God, like going back to the birthday thing, I swear to God, I saw your birthday was on Facebook, like not even recently.
I don't know. I think I have it set to my actual birthday. I don't know why.
Probably was trying to scam the internet, doing what all the kids did when we first started Facebook. Our generation,
old enough for Facebook,
yeah. So we just
30-something years
changed.
old.
We just scrolled through. Made it seem like 65.
Yeah.
I just see your mom's like, "How the hell are you older than me?"
Oh snap! It's my 78th birthday.
Man, I wish I had family that was somewhere like a different location, because then when you come together and you get to hang out with them, it's a whole different experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's something new and also exciting too. I mean, being able to connect with them, like what types of things different that you saw that they did there rather than what you do here with your family?
Mm.
I mean, you told me before you try and incorporate a lot of family stuff with your family. Like there's a lot of you living together. But at the same time, it's like you're all connected. You all still have family dinners and stuff like that. Like it doesn't happen in my household. It doesn't happen in a lot of kids' households nowadays.
Well, I don't know. Like over there, it's a lot more like impoverished too. So you see a lot more of like bigger families living together and stuff. Something that I really didn't find right when I was over there is like I was asking about like money and all that, like the minimum wage and all that. They keep it really low, and like the thing is, he's like the government's so corrupt that the companies are paying for the government people to just keep it at what it is, so they don't have to pay their workers all that much.
How much have you seen of corruption in the government down there?
I mean, quite a bit.
Did it seem like people just didn't give a shit because they could easily pay off somebody?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't give.
Like it's always. There's a situation where you're always like, I could either pay you off or I could call somebody to take care of it. And, like,
well, what are some of the things you saw that would, I guess you would be like, oh shit, this is why I don't want to live here? Did you see anything like that? Because a lot of people, like I've talked to people that podcasted with people that are from like go to Caribbean or do like you were saying, like think of it like that, but they never went outside of that area, and sometimes they were forced to stay in the hotel's jurisdiction of things. Like don't come outside of this area because you might get lost, and by I mean lost is you might get killed.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, did you experience any of that down there?
I mean, not quite. The only thing I really kind of saw like that, which was kind of eye opening, was like we were staying at this one hotel, like literally. Not even on the outside of the city, just kind of like on some side street. And like all the side streets, like, kind of just beat down. And then this hotel was like beautiful and huge, and like you go in there, we were staying on like the second floor, so we had a balcony. We were overlooking on the other side of the hotel, and just went right back to like, stone buildings and all that. And I just thought it was kind of like, wow.
I think that's pretty cool though, because you don't see that a lot nowadays with newer buildings. It kind of pisses me off because you used to see people take time to make something, especially back in the day where shit was built to last.
Yeah.
Like you see buildings today that are kind of crumbling down, but that shit's been there hundreds of years. Like a house like this is not going to last another like 50 years or 20 years. Like it's going to be torn down. It's going to look like shit.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, there used to be a lot more character and stuff. If you go to Mexico, you see character. Like a lot of people want to give it shit for being a poor country. I'm like, no, but it shows like what they're given and how they're working to kind of come above that a little bit in a way too.
Yeah, like I don't know, like over there you see a lot of people like out on the streets to wash your windows, and you see a lot of people selling roses and newspapers on the side of the street. But then you also see like a bunch of more like people in wheelchairs asking for money, like in exchange for something, the candy or something that they have. Like it's pretty upsetting because like that stuff is more rough out there, but I don't know. Like
Was it more? It was probably more humbling than being super upsetting.
Huh?
It was more like you were kind of gracious for what you had.
Well, very much so. Like I am very grateful for what I have and like where I live and all. But at the same time, it's just kind of upsetting for like like it's sad to see that my country is that way.
Yeah, I see you cheering up about it. But I think you mostly get like really super emotional, especially when you're fucking high, dude. You the impact you get for that when that's happening there. Like anybody that's ever smoked pot would know that you get desensitized. Like you get, or not desensitized, you get sensitive to a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like you feel a whole graspness of the earth. Like, whoa, like, did I just say that to that person? I gotta call them and tell them how much I actually love them. Like it's like the drunk version of like when that one form you get when you're drunk. Yeah. Where you just start saying I love you all the time. Yeah. That's like a realness though. I think like more people need to kind of experience that today, just a whole nother perception on life a little bit. Cause you go to somewhere that's impoverished like that, like they're happy though when it comes to family. Like they're happy in wealth in that sense. I think we're disconnected from that. We're not going to be able to understand that. Yeah, there's a major thing of corruption. It seems like if I had a lot of money, I would just go over there because I'd probably be a billionaire over there with just like a couple $1,000.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like everything over there is more expensive than it is over here too.
What?
In a way, like especially electronics, I've noticed. Like I was talking to somebody about it, and they said overall, like the average they make a week is around 600 to like 800 pesos. Like that is literally $30 to like $40 a week, working at like a retail job or something like that. So over there, like you would go to the.
Well, their money's not worth as much here.
Huh?
Their money's not worth anything really over here.
That's like, yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the thing. Like
you make more, but you don't. That doesn't mean more. It's the same thing technically. Like $1 here is like a shit ton of money over there.
Like $1 here, I think it's like 18 pesos over there. But then I think it's like to buy American money, it's like 16 pesos for $1 or something like that.
Oh shit.
Or no, excuse me, I have that opposite way. So like $1 would be 18, but then like to buy one, it's like 20 some pesos to buy $1. So like American money is like worth more.
Plus, when they give you like options for like if you're gonna buy a rose or something, it's gonna be like 20 pesos, which is like that's
$1.
Yeah, it's like a normal cost for a rose here. You would think, what? Like shit, that's a lot. Like you have a lot of the object, but it doesn't have a whole lot of worth.
No, that's the thing. Like
it's like owning 100 pennies. It equals $1. It might seem like you have a lot, but it's not a lot of money.
Well, like something that I heard was like everything's expensive, but they keep the beer and TV cheap. Like, because literally, like over there, 30-pack of beer is like 300 pesos, maybe.
It's like $6 or $7 American money.
Yeah, something like that. It's really not much. Like,
why is that though? Why is beer so cheap?
I don't know. It's just the way it's made, produced, because it's produced all.
Now, is it beer or is it tequila?
Huh?
Is it beer or tequila?
I mean, all of the above. Like, they have tequilas over there that they can buy for literally like $10, like, and it's a big bottle.
I think your takeaway from Mexico would be different from like my takeaway from Mexico. Like I would probably be a little bit more humbled in a lot of things, but I think at the same time, like a white person going over to Mexico is only going to take away all the beautiful things and all the things they can do with their money there. I'm not like, for me, just being humbled by talking to so many people and getting more experience on like under my belt or something. I'll be a little bit more humbled by like seeing that type of stuff, seeing this type of hardworking person that's on the side of the street doing these types of things. Did you encounter a donkey down there?
I did.
So
twice.
it's not a stereotype.
No.
Thank God. Because I've been running with that notion for the longest time. I wish we had donkeys here. I don't see why we're using horses.
I did twice. Once, we were going down the road, and this guy was like, I thought he was on a horse. Like, he had like a horse and a carriage, but he had like these blind things over the donkey's eyes.
Because they get fucking distracted about shit.
Easily. And I didn't realize that, so I looked over and I was like, oh shit, it's actually a donkey.
That's why horses have that when they're running track. They have to try and stay on the path because they'll look over and they'll get curious. They're fucking curious animals.
Yeah.
But the fact is, a donkey's stronger than a freaking horse by a lot.
One of those things fucking kicks you, you're done. Like,
dude, I watched a video on Instagram. There's a page, Nature is Metal. Shows the primal shit of nature. It'll humble you on animals in nature. Like, you think you could fuck up a bear? I watched 2 grizzly bears fight. No. I'd be dead in a minute, bro. I saw this shit happen. I was like, there's no way. The Revenant was fake. All that's bullshit.
All you gotta do is make a circle around.
I watched a Clydesdale about to mate another Clydesdale. So it's getting ready to hop up, and the thing's spinning around because it's trying to reject it. And this Clydesdale kicked this other Clydesdale in the head. All you heard would sound like someone grabbed a horseshoe and chucked it against the metal rod, like when you're playing horseshoes, and you hear a ding, and this thing falls over and starts shitting itself. It died on camera a minute later. Apparently, they kick up to like 200-something miles an hour. It's a lot of force in their kick, but freaking brain dead, killed the Clydesdale. People are like, what just happened? And everyone's like standing around like, is it going to get up? And the thing's just on the ground.
Actually,
done.
Yeah, I think I saw that video, yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I sent it to you and like 4 other people. I was like, I just got humbled by a fucking horse, dude. Like, you see that shit happen? Like,
dude, horses are fucking behemoths too. Like,
they're the only animal that can change the way they ride based on your thinking. They're the only ones that can link to your brain and emotional functions. If you are not thinking clearly when you are riding a horse, you're going to throw the horse completely off. If you're thinking about anything, which makes it really fucking weird when you watch Western movies. You're watching a Western, gunshots are going off. You're telling me you're not thinking about those gunshots and you're trying to keep a leveled head with a horse. That's why a lot of times in movies you see the guy get thrown off because the horse rears. Because he can't focus when you're not riding right. If he senses something emotionally wrong with you and mentally, like your mind's not in riding the horse, he can't ride right, can't ride straight, can't do anything, you can't control him.
Yeah.
That's why you have to have.
I remember last time I rode a horse was like 15 years ago. Like, I've never known that.
Yeah, like, and when you're riding on the horse, someone was probably holding the front of the reins, keeping them directed. You have like, of true riders of horses, like people that do it professionally, I've talked to, they all say like that's the only animal that like you need to have a connection with it. When they're in the game, they're focused on what they're focused on. They have to make sure their mind's set on it too, like of their animal. I'm like, damn. That's crazy to think of, considering that we just use horses for some random stupid shit. You always think of a cowboy. I'm like, but nobody knows the true work you got to put in to make something unfold.
I mean, because I know, like, you obviously know Tyler. He trains horses and stuff like that. He's always, like, had, like, basically said the same thing. Like,
you can't be thinking about Netflix that night.
Yeah, when you're training and, like, talking to your horse, you have to make sure you're on the same mindset as him. Like, it's just, like, it's just you two, and you're just fucking doing what you got to do. Then.
Now, when we first podcasted, I asked you, what do you want to do with your life? And you said a burrito bar. Is it still an idea in that?
Yes, for sure. No, I mean, I'm still going to business school. I'm still hoping to get some managerial experience and all that, so I'm still hoping to do something like that.
Are you trying to head to Mexico and do it?
I don't know.
Since you came back.
The more and more that I think about it, though, I don't know, how much in Ocean City, like, I'd want it to be, too. Like, I don't know. You know, I want to experience more and like travel around and see what other places have to offer before I really settle on what I actually really want to do. You know,
It would be a good spot here, but I think it also wouldn't probably last as long as you'd want it to, only because this town seems like businesses go and change all the like time. Seems like there's always a new trend.
It's a tourist town and it's only active during the summer. You know, I feel like you really have
You'd be
to
hurting during the
stick
winter.
with the locals and get
You
all
have to be
that.
selling drugs on the side of the street. Actually, if it's a burrito bar, it's probably like besides Chipotle's the only other one I can think of.
With some good ass burritos.
I want to know why Popeye's chicken sandwich is getting so popular to the fact that now people are fighting and beating the shit out of other people for this sandwich.
Are you serious?
Have you seen the Facebook videos?
No,
I just
I've
watched
heard
one
a
this
lot of,
morning,
like,
dude.
That they keep selling out, and that like people aren't reaching to get the.
And now there's a
burritos.
fight with Chick-fil-A. I'm like, it's turning into McDonald's and Burger King conspiracy theory. Like the whole idea they're all fighting. It's all turf war everywhere. I'm like, we're talking about things turf war in Mexico. Let's talk about the turf war with our freaking fast food down here, man.
Dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a chicken sandwich. Come on, bro.
Well, that fucking chicken sandwich is awesome. I'll stab somebody for a burrito. Like a good burrito, like a classic one.
Yeah.
The only thing I liked about Popeyes, though, was their biscuits.
Uh,
I don't understand why they're doing this.
yeah. I mean, that's probably why they're doing it. I mean, you know how much more business they're probably getting.
Wendy's just capitalized on the fact that, like, we're not like Popeyes. You won't love our chicken sandwich, but we got this new popcorn shrimp that's pretty fucking awesome. I'm like, why does Wendy's have the best comebacks? Like, I don't understand. Their food is not very good at all.
Wendy's Twitter?
They roast people.
Yeah, Wendy's Twitter is fucking amazing. Like, it's one of my favorite
They
pages.
literally roast people. It's like, your Wendy's biscuit, it was missing something. He goes, maybe it was missing the love that you never got from your parents. I was like, who the fuck? Like, what? Like, and the sad part is you think it's that woman in the red hair and thing that's doing that. Like when Colonel Sanders
I
tweets
saw
at you.
like some Reddit AMA one time. It was like the guy that runs the Twitter page. And like he's funny as shit. Like he's worked with like a bunch of other like places too. So like,
they probably hire him like, hey. And then Wendy's was like, we need to capitalize on this guy. We don't need good food. We just need to talk shit on the people that talk shit on us.
Literally, I think one point he said he was a meme specialist or something like that. So he's just
it's
like,
fucking Trump, dude. Because that guy posts up like tweets at the weirdest times. You're like, what the fuck? Why are you up at 2 o'clock in the morning bitching about somebody?
Some of his tweets always fucking sound like they're from a 12-year-old too.
Dude,
a really mad drunk 12-year-old.
I think terribly unfunny, terribly not cool. I'm like, thank you, okay? I'll take that for myself.
The only tweet that I can somewhat stand, but it still made me cringe, was the ASAP Rocky tweet where he's like, it was a rocky time getting him back. Come back ASAP, ASAP. And I was like, oh my god!
Like I think that was accidental laughter, though. I think he literally meant it, like ASAP. Like he just said the word too many times, and then I guess it turned out to be funny. And you're like, what the fuck? Like he didn't even realize what he just said.
No, he did because like I mean his name is ASAP Rocky, so like he said it was a rocky time getting you back. Come back ASAP, ASAP.
I think it was weird when our president threatened to beat up an ex-vice president.
What?
Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
He said if he got into a fight with Joe Biden, that Joe Biden would go down hard. I'm like, what the fuck? And then Joe Rogan's like, I'm going to do a fight companion. We're going to set this up. We're going to make it happen. I'm going to talk to UFC. I'm like, this is nuts. We're living in a world of chaos. We like to look at Mexico and think that, oh my God, they're so corrupt down there. It's like, we're corrupt here. And like the weirdest ways, though, like the dumbest shit that doesn't matter. A popcorn chicken's more important than the people here nowadays. I watched a literally grown-ass woman punch another grown-ass woman in the face, and then a whole family jump over the counter and started beating the shit out of her because they were out of a chicken sandwich.
Jesus Christ.
They don't want that McDonald's shit to happen. The ice cream machine's always fucking broken. Don't tell me we're out of the chicken sandwich. I know your lazy ass just doesn't want to make it.
Dude, shit, I didn't even think of that, honestly. What if they really do have plenty of chicken sandwiches in the back, but they
don't want to put it on, dude. Because they cook a certain amount and they expect, like, it's like Royal Farms. Their chicken, they have, like, certain times they change out the chicken. And now with newer ones, they have to make sure they're on it. Like they're making sure they're changing it like all the time and constantly having the schedule up. But the old one, West Ocean City, is running down. This woman's like, I don't feel like throwing more chicken on the fryer. Like, she told me that. I was like, but I ordered a chicken tender meal. She goes, I can give you your French fries. I'm like, then I'm only paying for the fucking French fries. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'll still take the thick cut motherfuckers, but at the same time, like the chicken, like that's the whole point. You come to Royal Farms, world famous chicken, and they tell you we're out of chicken.
Yeah.
What? Like,
nah, it's ridiculous. I think that's happened to me like once. You know what really upset me though?
What?
I went to Wawa one time for lunch. They were already out of mac and cheese.
That's a big thing with Wawa too. Mac and cheese is apparently really, really good there. I hate mac and cheese. So.
Really?
I don't like mac and cheese. I don't like mayo.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's too cheesy. I'm lactose sensitive, so when it eats cheese, it's like everyone in the room has to go home
cheese. Now. Oh, I love cheese.
You're a cheesy bastard.
I fucking am. It's not easy being cheesy.
It's not easy being cheesy.
But nah, Wawa. I've had very deep thoughts about what place has the best mac and cheese. So like, KFC.
The way you said that to me was like marijuana was definitely involved, because if you have deep thoughts about fast food, you have an obsession with food.
No, I can honestly say I probably wasn't that, because this was like years
You're
back.
the guy that mops out or like maps out all the freaking food court spots to hit up. Like, don't go there. They shrimp you on a bunch of shit. Like, me and my buddy have one Chinese food place we will go to when we go to Salisbury, and that is Sizzling Wok.
Sizzling Wok.
It is like China Panda Buffet in one. But it's like a scoop out, take out thing. You pay $5. She gives you this little like one of those take home trays things, like the closed containers. Piles it up so you can't even close the thing.
Oh, is that the one in the food court in the mall?
Yes, next to Shoju Japan.
Yeah.
Not the one that just shoves shit at you. Shoju Japan feeds you while you're in line, and then when you get up to order, you're like, I'm not fucking hungry anymore. Like, they're like, take this. Oh, try sample. I'm like, no.
Shit. You know they're actually owned by the same person.
Yeah, it's the same guy. They're all connected. All those mall businesses, they're all those little small shops. You'll see the same person work over. We have one of those giant monopolizing things down here next to our Food Lion.
What do you mean?
The laundromat next to the Asian garden. That's all owned by the same people.
Really?
Dude, their wall is, you can push it. It's connected. I didn't know that, because I was talking to the lady when I was picking up, I guess my jacket I had to get a zipper fixed.
Yeah.
My mom dropped it off. I still let my parents do my appointments. But then too rich for that thing. But like, I was over there, I was like, yeah, can I just get this jacket? I picked up my jacket, went across the street, or not across the street, literally right next door. Same people. Same fucking people.
He just walked through the door in the back.
And they own the laundromat too. I asked her, I was like, weren't you over there? Like, I was trying not to be racist, because it's an Asian owned place. So I was like, I don't want to say you all look alike and get that. It's a laundromat. It is a Asian garden. It is a manicure place. They're all owned by the same person.
Damn.
She walked over to each part. I was like, what the hell?
That's pretty wild.
Talk about monopolizing somewhere. Like, holy crap.
Oh, shit, I mean, damn, maybe she owns them all. Who knows?
I wanted to do statistics of like businesses that are run all by the same person. Like, when you find out Oakley's and everybody that makes those sunglasses, like the prescriptive ones, they're all the same company.
Really?
Oakley's was the only rival company that was going against like some sunglasses manufacturer, but most sunglasses are owned by the same corporation. Like, you go to Sunglasses Hut or you go to some place, all the sunglasses in there, Ray-Bans, all that shit's owned by the same company.
Well, that makes sense considering they're all...
They just have a different brand title.
Yeah.
But Oakley was the only rival one. They refused the buyout offer, and then that's why you rarely see Oakleys in stores anymore. They're mostly like confined to a small little section.
Yeah, like other shops, I feel like.
It's weird, and you have to order them online or something. Like, you have to, and they're expensive as hell to get them to you, first of all.
Really? Damn. I've only ever seen them like at hunt shops and like random just like surf shops or like, I don't even know, just random shops around here.
I think something really, really cool is now they're doing sunglasses, where they're now having Bluetooth in the sunglasses.
How's that?
They hit right above where your temple is, and apparently if you grab your phone speaker and you put it up to your temple, you can actually hear what's going on inside your head. So that's how it works. It plays like right there, like just the little edges of it. It's called Zooms, and like there's $200 pair of sunglasses on Amazon. I thought about ordering them, but you can do Bluetooth, You do all that shit on them just by wearing sunglasses. You don't have to put headphones in your
And you
ears.
can just fucking listen to it from your temple.
Isn't that nuts?
That's wild.
Just by vibrations and shit.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's what I'm saying. You go somewhere, if you go somewhere like Mexico with a lot of technology, not like a lot to the point where you're not knowing Mexico anymore, but enough to like kind of enjoy this aspect people don't see. Google Translate. Bam. Walk over there with Google Translate, like Google Glass or something that gives you Google Translate in your ear.
Yeah.
Learn how to understand the language and learn how to speak it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'd go to Mexico, I would learn Spanish. I work at a hotel where it's nothing but Latina housekeepers. Like, it's very, very difficult for me to try to understand what they're saying or what they want because they don't feel like they need to
understand sometimes.
Well, yeah, they act like they don't understand, but they do. But at the same time, it's like they're used to being a minority everywhere, and then they feel powerful and comfortable finally in an area where they're surrounded by other people. I never felt comfortable, so I like being a minority in places. I know what that's like. You know what I mean? And that's not like but I know there's a fact of white privilege too. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't see that. And I think nowadays white privilege is expanding to every other race now, only on the fact that everyone feels like they're entitled to something.
Gosh, honestly, all this, whatever movement this is even going on, it makes me so annoyed sometimes. Like, anyone can get pissed off about anything now because of one tiny thing.
And then now you're afraid to say something to people because you're afraid you're going to harm them.
Always fucking offend somebody. Like, I swear, I can't even go on Twitter sometimes because
I don't have a Twitter for that specific reason. I stopped Facebook for a while until you started watching people getting beat up at stores and shit, like fast food places, because of the fact that everyone on Facebook was just bitching about their problems all day. And every podcast I've been in so far has led down to the same thing. Everyone's thinking the same. They don't like what's going on in the world today. They feel like everyone's two-faced. I'm like, no, we're fucking full. We're full of the shit that gets shoveled in our face. We don't have anybody to talk to. We're not connected anymore. That's why when you see like a Latino group of people, whatever, different ethnicity that is like is really connected as a family and has these types of family things, they don't ever really need to bitch about anything because they have the wholeness. They have the people at home to bitch to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many times nowadays you talk to someone, the first thing they do is goes, the weather's all right, but let me tell you something. My fucking bills are up. It's like, what? Like, how did we get to this? It's scaring me. Stop.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the complaints. I want to hear the laughter again.
I feel that.
How modernized was Mexico? Like, just everything was kind of the same?
Well,
because even having donkeys here, that's not seen as modernized. That's only seen like...
Well, like, get this. There are a bunch of businesses, like, in Mexico, like, in that area, because it's a big city, and they're even here. Like, I saw more Little Caesars, and there's actually a Pizza Hut over there.
Little Caesars isn't modernized.
Well, we don't have one in Ocean City.
That's the reason why. That's some
City.
petty shit. My grandparents eat Little Caesars. That hot and ready
Little Caesars
shit.
is fucking legit.
Any pizza is legit. But to find an authentic pizza place or one that is really good pizza, Domino's, yo. I just call Domino's authentic. That crust will put you to your fucking knees.
All right, very true, very true. I've also had this conversation about which pizza is the best. But, like, I don't know. The last Blockbuster that I ever saw was in a mall.
There's only one left in America.
Really?
Alaska.
Huh.
The last fucking Blockbuster.
Damn.
I think Blockbuster's going to make a comeback.
Why is that?
I really do think that they're going to end up being another video store again. Because I think a lot of people are really getting afraid of technology. A lot of people love it, but I think a lot of people, when it comes to downloading shit, like getting a subscription to something, they forget they signed up for that fucking month. And next thing you know, it's a reoccurring payment, and then they're screwed in a situation. I feel like it's so much easier to rent a DVD nowadays.
I feel the opposite, though. I feel like, DVDs are obviously still going to be a big thing, because I feel like someday that might be worth something, like, or something like that. But I think that streaming services are just going to eventually just be the move. Like, I don't even watch cable anymore. Like, I still rent DVDs every so often. It's for stuff that I can't watch on Netflix or stuff I can't watch on Hulu. I wonder
how many people use DVDs or VHSs anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's still the people that used to work at Blockbuster that are just like, fuck it. Like, I remember this shit. Like, you used to be able to buy porn in a store like a Blockbuster. There's only one left in our area, and that's Salisbury. They have a freaking porn store, beads on the curtains and all that shit. That was in our parents' lifetime.
There's a red light district. They have a whole
section on porn.
Yeah.
Who's popping porn in the DVD player when you can easily look it up on your phone?
Some very specific fetish dudes.
I feel like some people are literally like, I don't want the government knowing when I'm looking up. I can let the government know, like, my phone's open to anyone. If you want to see what I search up, then go ahead and search up. You're gonna look up some weird ass shit.
Nah, I mean,
mostly stuff with WebMD asking me like I probably have cancer because I asked like something like, "Is it okay if this happens?" No, you have cancer. So go shit.
Nah.
There's too much shit out there too. It's like we keep producing a lot of stuff, and then stuff loses value. You know, that's why minimum wage is going up to $15 now.
I feel like there's gonna be back to like about the DVD thing. I feel like there's gonna be like a big boom of like older things coming back, because like Travis Scott just released his new his Netflix documentary. He released it on VHS. You know, like he put it out like in
buy a VHS, motherfucker. I guarantee you, Amazon and all these people are like, that's not gonna fly.
No, for sure. Like a bunch of my favorite rappers are putting out vinyls. You know, like cassettes now and stuff. Like people are still buying it up.
I hate how businesses are becoming way too fucking technology advanced. Like Amazon is now doing Netflix stuff. They're now hiring comedians to do the comedy specials and stuff like that. Like Jim Gaffigan's new one was on freaking Amazon Prime. What? Or Amazon Video, whatever it's called. It's like, who the fuck has that? And there's like a surprising a lot of people. Dude, I brought up yesterday, about the deforestation, like just to Sean, like thinking about doing a podcast about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, it was really weird. I had told someone I was going to talk about the Amazon. You know what they thought? The fucking business. I talked about deforestation in the Amazon. What about Amazon? Did you not get your package?
That's sad.
What happened?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I think you need to be humbled a little bit more when you start thinking the Amazon is a freaking Safari app on your phone. Like, that's ridiculous, dude.
No.
I mean, there's good shit on there.
Literally, you know, that whole thing was done on purpose. It was like they did it for more, like just more farmland or something like that. And they like purposely...
What, deforestation?
Yeah.
It's all about overconsumption.
Oh, my bad. I was talking about like the forest fires that were going on down. Yeah,
well, a lot of that is because there's too much shit in that area that's not supposed to be like that. The fact that trees aren't living to be their full life anymore. We're cutting them down when they're smaller. Like a tree lives to be 8 years or something at the most, rather than be a full healthy tree. I brought up to the fact that maybe we should do something as one person gets each tree, and that tree represents them. They'd have to take care of that tree their whole entire life. That one tree. And anything happens to that tree, if that tree goes down or that tree gets neglected, then you're done. You're off this earth. But then I started thinking there'd be a million people out there trying to chop other people's fucking trees down to kill them. But I'm like, you have to bond to something. Like a bonsai tree. You ever had a bonsai tree?
No.
They're fucking weird. Only because, like, you're sitting there like, all right, is this thing going to grow? And then, like, randomly you'll check on, like, a week later and it grew so much. You're like, what happened? It's like, you know, watching a boiling pot never boils. But at the same time, you have to take accountability for something. Owning a pet. Owning a goldfish.
Yeah.
You experience life and death. That's something for a kid to understand. You know? I think with anything, you need to kind of be humbled in certain aspects of your life. And I feel like nowadays, the only humbling people ever get is when their phone just doesn't turn on. You know, it's like the update fucked up your phone. Next thing you know, you can't get on the internet. Having Wi-Fi go out is now a thing. Like, dude,
it's fucking terrible.
My cousin got caught in the rain the other day, and I remember I used to ride my bike in the rain, and like I used to try to like run from a thunderstorm or try to beat it back to my house. And then that's literally when you pull up into the lawn and you just throw the bike on the ground, run inside the house. I don't care if the bike gets rusted. Like, I fucking made it. I beat a thunderstorm. Dude, my cousin got caught in it, and he's like 12 years old. You know what he said to me?
What?
I got caught in the rain riding my bike. I had to Uber home. Dude, I felt like someone kicked me in the nuts. I was like, what just happened? He's like, thank God my bike could fit in his car. I was like, you didn't ride home in the rain? No, man. I had all my stuff on me. I had my phone. I was like, Dude.
So fucking what?
The worst thing. Did you say so fucking white? I was like, that
no,
is
I
a
said
white
so
thing
fucking
too.
What?
I was about to say shit, dude, because that is like he is glorified to hell, man. Like if he didn't have public school, he would not know what culture is, dude. I'm telling you, man. That's like I talk.
Damn.
I talk about some things like public schools being awesome. I actually did a podcast with someone who's a teacher at a private school, and we were talking about the idea of the kids getting free lunches in school. He didn't think kids should ever get free lunches in school. But to highlight what he was truly talking about was his private school. Now, he made a good point. If you're paying $20,000 a year for your kid to go to school, this school should not have to give you a free lunch. That is the least they could do, but you should be able to afford lunch for your kids. But in a public school sense, like I was coming from a private school, or no, I was coming from a public school. He was coming from a private school.
Yeah.
So we were kind of arguing a little bit, but it was more of a debate. And I was like, how as a teacher and a parent, you can see that, like see a kid be starving. And he was like, well, kids go to school at our school, but they pay. Like they pay a lot of money to go here. So if you can't pay $1 or $2 for lunch, that's a problem. I'm like, yeah, in a public school, there are kids that actually go starving, and it's good systems that we have where it comes to feeding them and making sure they get some nutrition through the day, because you can't just let a kid starve.
Yeah, obviously not. No, I agree with that. Like, I see both your points. Like, if you're paying for your kid to go to a school for $20,000, like a fucking semester,
you're telling me that
whatever,
kid's not eating Chipotle every lunch?
Exactly. And not even mean or nothing, but like when I was working at a Panera for some time, during the day, like at lunch, I'd see a bunch of the private school kids come in, just come to eat there, or go to eat Chipotle, or whenever I was on work and on my lunch, I would go to Chipotle. I saw a bunch of them there, and it's not like they can't or nothing. If obviously they're paying to go to school for.
I think you got to look at another aspect too. The same fact is if a kid's paying to go to his own school and doesn't have enough money to feed himself. You know what I mean? Public school gives you the benefit of giving you free education. It might not be the best education, but it's there, and it's still something you can see if that fits for you. I definitely think school should be, I hate saying this because this goes against everything I've ever been raised to believe in, but the whole idea is you should have to be required to go to school only because it gets you to decide what you want to do. But I think they need to change the system a little bit when it comes to working with what the person is interested in. There should be basic elements. You should learn how to write. It's really sad that nowadays writing is going to be a lost art form. Yeah. Kids are now getting established mandatory tablets. Like every kid that's coming up in school now has a assigned tablet. There's no more textbook. You can't draw a Sharpie of a dick or say turn to page 36, up back to 42, up back to 76, up to 84 or whatever, and then there's a dick at the end. You don't get that in scribbling in the textbooks. Yeah, that's cool. We're not using a lot of paper, but at the same time, it's like you don't know what it's like to feel what a page feels like.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Books aren't going to be a thing anymore.
That's upsetting.
It's going to be a lost art.
That's really upsetting because, like, there's just something about it. Because, like, I don't really read, like, novels or so, but I like poetry books. So, like, just some days it's nice to go to the bookstore and just fucking flip through them, check them out. Because it's just got a different feel instead of just swiping on the fucking screen to the next page.
I think the only book that might last longer than anything, well, obviously the Bible. That's stood the test of time. But comics. That'll probably be the last transition. Like I have a comic app on my phone where I can read infinite amount of comic books on my phone. Yeah. But the still idea of the cool graphic arts you get to see. It's literally about appreciating something in a form. Like when you see a painting or something, like looking at like that Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, like you see a shit ton of wonder in that. Like my brain just wanders, like how did he draw that? And you find out he created it in his insane asylum cell, looking out his window and painted that. Like you hear stories like that, it makes you want to look more for art and kind of decipher what the person was trying to create. But nowadays we're okay with a dot on a canvas. You know, I think people need to look at that as like a conception for your life too. Like, are you gonna be comfortable just being a dot, not doing anything? I'm not going to feel comfortable doing that. I'm going to try and understand the world as much as I possibly can. You know what I mean? And everyone thinks a lot the same. Everyone thinks they're very, very unique. We are very unique in our passion and abilities and things that we can do. But at the same time, we act one and the same only because it's in human nature to kind of seem very, very similar, but we're following the new society rules now where we're going to be conformed to be Jim that works the 9 to 5. I can tell you right now, I don't work like Jim that works the 9 to 5. My best times is being up at 2 o'clock in the morning when nobody's awake. I was outside. I went to the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I know what it's like to be on the road when nobody else is out. I know what it's like to feel like I can finally think. I can smell the air, especially with the breeze nowadays. It feels really fucking good.
Gosh, I love these kind of days.
And it's like, these are days you just don't really want to do anything. Like, you don't want to go feel obligated to go anywhere. Like, when it's sunny out and you're sitting inside the house, you feel like a lazy shit. But when it's nice like this, where it's cloudy, you feel like it's a comfortability factor. You can just sit at home with the windows open and just fucking relax. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't get the humbleness of understanding what nature was like anymore. And I really don't want nature to be limited to documentaries on Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
I've been recently addicted to Bill Nye, his show now, where he starts talking about the earth and all the problems and the ways he dumbs it down for people to understand. Like, much like how he did with kids, he now is literally telling us, like, wake adults. The fuck up. We're adults now. It's time to understand shit. If I have to curse to get your attention, because it seems like that's the only thing that can get your attention, and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too far off where America is going to become something that's probably going to be the poorest country in the world.
You think?
I mean, Africa is going to look at us as a comparison. Like, you could be living in America. You know what I mean? Yeah. And sometimes they do that only when they consider their family. Like, people from Haiti are like, I'm not connected to my family anymore. Like, I've talked to them personally. Like, they don't have the businesses they used to own. They're not doing anything like what they're doing now, where they work in a hotel or something. And they're like, I miss it back home. I was more wealth and family and love than I am here. Everything's so isolated and it's so confusing. I'm like, damn, that fucking hurts. Especially, this is all I've known. So going and experiencing and hearing that from somebody else, it's an eye-opener.
I understand.
It's difficult, dude. You know, not trying to take it down a dark route, but shit, man. Like, there's so much shit I would like to do. I don't want to join the Peace Corps and go anywhere to really do anything out of my way, like build homes and shit. But at the same time, I want to go explore. And I think you got to work on building yourself up before you can work about caring for somebody else. Like, we're exploring fucking space. Why don't we focus on the planet? Why are we not focused on the planet? Okay, then why don't we work on ourselves as people? Can't work on ourselves as people? Well, why don't we work on ourselves? Don't want to work on ourselves because it's too hard, so we're just going to blame other people. Yeah. Fucking weird change.
That's society now, man. I don't know. I feel like everything is always somebody else's problem. And, like, not even that. Like, your problem is always somebody else's fault. I feel like is the way, like, people are thinking now.
That's how the fucking fast food people beating the shit out of other people started.
Yeah.
It's someone else's problem. They're out of the food. Sorry. You know, it's easy to blame somebody else. I'm like, why can't we just sit and talk about how good fast food places are? Why can't we just sit and talk? I haven't had fast food in years, but at the same time, I know when something's fucking looks good as shit. Like, I can smell a nice Popeyes biscuit. I'm like, I wish that was that fucking air freshener. I told my cousin, he got it the other day. I was like, dude, I might eat that. He's like, I got one extra just for you. Like, he does that when we go, when I take him, like, to McDonald's or something. He'll try and get something extra for me. Like, I don't want it. Yeah. But I'm like, take that biscuit, either leave it under the seat or break it in half and just slam it up on the roof of my car. Like, just start grinding it into the top of the upholstery. Because it smells so good, dude. Yeah. Like,
nice little buttered biscuit.
I'm telling you, dude, nothing beats that. It's like mama, grandmama needs a nice biscuit for you. Dude, there are some places, man, that, like, they have, was there any McDonald's or anything like that in Mexico?
Yeah, plenty. Like, you still see all, like, the regular stuff you would see. There's just a lot more, like, homemade stuff.
Because I just podcasted with someone from Australia, and I was like, I don't know if you know what 7-Eleven is. He goes, yeah, I know what fucking 7-Eleven is. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, we have those here. We just don't. Our 7-Eleven's different. I'm like, what do you mean it's different? There's no taquitos on the roller. I'm like, then you're missing the best part about fucking 7-Eleven. He goes, yeah, but we have the Slurpees. I'm like, all right, you got me there. That is kind of what they're known for too. But
yeah, no, they're like 7-Elevens, they're McDonald's, Burger King. There's fucking. I mean, like I said, there's Little Caesars. They have Wingstop. There was fucking Home Depot, Walmart, all that kind of stuff. It's just in Mexico, like more expensive, and just shit just ranges out there.
what things do you find now coming back home after going there? What things did you kind of take for granted when you were down there? Like, kind of you look back now, like, shit, that's not what I was experiencing when I was just down there for that brief amount of time.
What do you mean that I take for granted from over here?
Yeah, well, I guess you could say here and then over there. Like, when you were there, you obviously were chilling by the pool, doing things, enjoying the sun, enjoying the family, enjoying fun. But is there anything that you saw that was different, like when you were over there, that was like completely like something that you wish was here? Because a lot of people like to compare, like,
more like side street, like vendors and stuff.
that's
like,
badass, dude. That's a lost art. Tell me a little bit about your experience.
There are a lot of places like you'll just be walking down the street and there's this guy like literally like outside his house just like cooking up some tacos, making a badass fucking tacos and selling them for cheap.
Yeah, instead of a hot dog stand, they have fucking taco stands.
Like out there is a place called El Centro, and it's basically just like a people's strip mall. Like it's like what are they called? Like a flea market, I guess. And like people just go there and they sell like different knickknacks, clothes, food, whatever you need.
I went to a flea market in Hawaii, and I'll never forget it because I went there and they had so much shit there that it was awesome. My brother bought a DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince album, like a little CD.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned that he had a whole rap career before he was a freaking actor. And I was like, saw that. I bought a giant conch that I still have that you can blow into, and it'll signal call like everybody. Used to piss off everybody in Hawaii blowing that thing. And dude, there's so much shit down there that people are selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards still in the original packs from like when I was a kid.
Damn.
And I was like, you come across some fucking treasures. That's why I go thrift shopping, hoping that I come across something one day. I mean, half the shit, like the mic stand my freaking recorder is on, that's from a thrift store. It's still got the little red sticker where it said 25 cents on the thing. There are things, necessities that people throw out that you can benefit from.
Yeah.
It's not about, I guess, taking another man's trash and another man's treasure, but it's about reusing too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you want to turn into an environmental aspect, like
that is one thing I very much saw over there too. Like it's kind of funny, because like sometimes we can donate our clothes to like family and stuff over there, and one of my cousins, she says that her aunt sells clothes and stuff, and one day she saw that like the River Soccer Club in Delaware. Yeah, there was a River Soccer Club shirt up there, and like people go and buy it. Like you can just.
Yeah, they sell it like 25 cents out front. What about those blankets, the one you're sitting on and the one that's over there? Do they have those over there? Those little Mexican blankets that everyone calls a Mexican blanket and doesn't know the exact name for, but everyone fucking has one and don't. I'm sitting on one too. I have 3 in my room right now. $1 at a thrift store. I'm like, where? I don't even know where I bought 2 of them, but I always had one as a kid. My mom's like, I don't know, we just got it.
Yeah.
I was like, where do they come from? Is there some person that just knits it in my house and leaves it there?
Fuck, I honestly didn't see very many of these. Like, I saw more, and there was only like so many or so, but like I saw more like ponchos and like sombreros, and I saw a lot of cowboy boots and stuff like that.
Did you pick up any souvenirs?
Not really.
You didn't bring me back $1?
Huh?
You didn't bring me back a bill?
I mean, I could probably find one.
When I first asked you when we first podcast, said bring a coin, a peso. I still have that. I have Romanian currency, Bulgarian currency, Turkish currency, all in my room, hanging up on my wall. I want to collect everything because it's so different. Like your money might be considered more valuable than ours. It looks so much fucking better. It looks like the freaking president on the coin or not president, whatever, the leader of Mexico has sunglasses. Fucking sunglasses.
He's mad chill.
He's a baller. Like it might not be worth, but it's more historical value than anything. Like the one from the Bulgarian currency on the $5 bill, dude, is fucking mutton chops. Looks badass, man.
yeah.
Ours, they're all wearing like white wigs and they're all like
Yeah.
kind of. Benjamin Franklin's pretty baller. He's kind of, you know what I mean? But I think it's so fucking nuts, man. I get fascinated when I start looking up at history, dude. I think I want to be a philosopher for sure.
Yeah.
You know how I wanted to go beginning a psychology route?
Yeah.
Dude, I find it links kind of go hand in hand with psychology and philosophy in a way. It's all about understanding, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like religion, they all might differ. You might worship more. Some dude tried to school me the other day on. He's like, "Have you ever heard of a boogeyman?" Well, let me tell you about. He's a friend of mine, so I can say this. But like one of the episodes, he's like, "Let me tell you about the Texas urban legend of the boogeyman." Then he said El Cucuy. I was like, "Motherfucker, I podcasted on that with a buddy of mine who's Hispanic, and let me tell you something. It is nothing like you think it is. It is completely different, and it varies from culture to culture. But it's cool because where you think something truly originated from somewhere even earlier. You know what I mean? That's fascinating, dude.
Yeah, just like a bunch of like stories. Like they're not the way that they like. What is it like? I can't even think of them. All the princess stories. Like originally they were dark as fuck. Like
they were like some like cryptid tale type stuff, like the fact the Little Mermaid, like she'd end up dying at the ending because the pain she had to feel, because like to be a human she had to feel like every time she took a step on her natural legs that they were going to be like needles going into them, so she ended up, her prince ended up not marrying her and marrying somebody else, and then she ended up throwing herself off a cliff to return back to the ocean, turned into fucking sea foam when she hit the water, just died.
Damn.
Like the witch in that Hansel and Gretel thing, the burning coals and shit. Like, there's primal stuff to those stories. Exactly. I find it really fucking weird about Disneyland, too.
Why so?
That they're known when they're in character. They have to stay in character. They're not allowed to take pictures in their costumes outside of work. They're not allowed to mention who they are. And they don't have a name. They have the character's name. You're known as Minnie Mouse when you work there. You didn't see that Snapchat story that got put up? The weird shit Disney does?
No.
Dude, the one girl took a picture without her costume, like getting ready to be Minnie Mouse.
She got fired.
No, dude, it wasn't even like that, man. The security came out, picked her up, grabbed her, threw her on a golf cart, and no one saw her again. Until, like, she doesn't work there anymore. She's still alive, but they did some scary shit to her, apparently, because she won't talk about it. She won't do anything about it. She's like, don't worry about it. I found a new job. Better now. Yeah. Like, some shit went down. And, Jesus. Like, some people walked out. I love Disneyland. It's like, do you not like anything about it? Oh, I love Disneyland. I podcast with audio engineers from there. I podcast with people that work there. It's fucking weird, man. They said that it's really, the only thing they find strange is that you have to be on stage when you're working there. Everything like being behind the scenes, like not playing a character, is known as off stage. But you're not allowed to bring any personal stuff into Disneyland. They do a thorough background check. They do a bunch of shit. And you have an autograph book, basically. You have to carry around with you. And you're not allowed to tell somebody that you don't know where that is. You have to help them find it. Or point them in a direction they can get help. Yeah. Which is cool. Especially you don't want some guy like, I don't fucking know. And like walk away like shit. Yeah. Sorry, I shit my pants because the guy freaking... Darth Vader over there didn't tell me where the bathroom was, you know, but, and they don't point with one finger. It was Walt Disney's thing that apparently pointing with one finger was offensive in some cultures, so you have to point with the Walt Disney point. And that was in the movie with Tom Hanks. Like, he had his finger like that. Dude, it brings up weird things, especially when you find out that they have their Walt Disney frozen in a basement somewhere. And also, he hated Jews, makes you really think about Disneyland. He was known as an anti-Semitist.
Damn, I didn't know that.
He did not like Jewish people.
Shit.
He thought they were greedy, which is true. We are pretty greedy. But at the same time, you got to look at the fact, like, that people that you see one side of them, there's a whole nother side of them, a little bit of a dark history. They're dirty laundry hanging out to dry. Yeah,
did not know that. Man, I feel like that's why it's a big thing to, never meet your heroes or something like that. Well, I don't know the saying. Well, it's like, you might know them for one thing, but if you meet them, they're fucking assholes. Like.
Yeah, there are some actors that like people are like, oh, can I get your autograph? Fuck off. It's like, what? It's like, I'm not here to do this. I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, you display a loved character. Like, you don't want to be dressed up as Winnie the Pooh and displaying an asshole bear. Like, even though that gives the kids a really unrational realization of what a fucking bear can do. Think of it as like a stuffed, fluffy animal. Go up and pet it. Next thing you know, you hear someone got mauled to death.
Yeah.
But I think it's the fact, like, we all show a side of us, but we never show our true selves. And I say, why don't we talk for an hour? It was the whole kind of basis of the podcast. We talk, let's figure out who you really are. You know what I mean? Not trying to unveil a character, but I've had somebody on one of my episodes, he came out in my podcast, not gay or anything, but like came out from his character, the one he was playing. He plays a stoner comic on TV. He has a podcast. Really nice guy, really awesome guy.
Yeah.
His podcast, Inhale Intellect, but he was like pro marijuana, like stoner Cheech and Chong type stuff.
Yeah.
Then during the podcast, he's like, I don't want to break away from my character and show the true side of me. I'm like, show me your true side, because I'll edit out the rest of this shit where you were giving me a character. The whole reason is you can't keep it up forever. Even when me and you did the podcast on foreign accent syndrome, we kept losing it. Like, and it was only like a 20-minute podcast. But the whole fact was you can't stay in character 100% of the time. You end up falling out of it. You end up going back to your norms, dude.
No, I know what you mean. Just because, I mean, I feel like you are one person. You can always put up that you're like an image of somebody else, but I mean, in the end, you're still yourself.
Something from some of the Romanian students I've podcast with, that they're like, you're real. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm a real OG? Okay, like 100? No. Like, you're real. Like, you don't show anybody than who you are. Like, people can't say you're you're good or bad. They say you're Robbie. You know what I mean? You truly actually care. I know when you ask me how my day is, it's not something like, yeah, it's fine, and then it's over. It's a small bitter batter. You actually care. And I'm like, yeah, I'll sit down and talk to him. And actually, one of the kind of weird ones at our hotel, he'll be drinking a coffee, and then he'll offer it to you, like an open coffee. And I just looked at him, and everyone's like, he's so weird. He's so slow. I'm like, he's not slow. And I sat down with him. I was like, I'm going to nail you from a psychology aspect. I'm no psychologist, like, at all. Anybody that listens is a psychologist. I podcast with psychologists, and I've got schooled on the works of psychology. But also they said I am right on some points. And it's the whole idea, like, it works for different people. But, like, when I was talking to him, no psychologist, but I came at it from a psychologist aspect. I said, you probably come from a family where you didn't have much, and everything you did have, you shared.
Yeah.
He said, yes. He came from a small home, 8 or 9 siblings, everything. Food was shared, everything. Like a dinner, it wasn't a family meal. You didn't get your own plate. You had to share a plate. And I was like, that's why you share your coffee, right? He said, yeah, exactly. And he told me a story a little bit. It's actually pretty heartbreaking. But at the same time, I see him now. He's just like me and you, though. You know what I mean? He works hard for what he has. And at the same time, he loves smoking hookah. He loves getting tattoos. He loves doing that. He has a passion and a drive to him that still makes him an individual person where people just consider him slow. Like one time I saw him, he was working outside all day. Nobody was helping him. I was busting my ass all day. But I found a drink in a room I knew, like a Gatorade. I was like, I don't drink this. I'm not just going to throw it out. So I went over and just handed it to him and said, hydrate. Okay. He's like, thank you. And it looked like I gave him a gift from God. Like someone literally went out of the way to help him because no one ever gives him the time anymore. I'm like, Morgan Freeman said it best in Evan Almighty, a small act of random kindness. And he fills up that water bowl for the dog and he starts drinking. It does not take much to help somebody out when they need help.
I totally believe in that. Like, honestly, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. Like, so that's why, for one, I don't like making fun of people. It's like, why? Like, what does it gain you?
I think it's to an extent. When it comes to making fun of, it's easy to crack jokes on each other when you're with friends. Yeah. But there's an extent where you might be causing some serious harm to somebody, where the point where they're laughing and they don't want to hang out with you.
Laughing, but then like in their head, they're just like, "What the fuck?" Like,
I didn't want you to bring up my parents got divorced. That shit I had to go through. It was difficult, and I isolated myself from people. But I learned that people make mistakes. I've been apologized to those people, and I've worked harder to get past it. And I understand them, and I'm more than willing to be their friend. And I've heard a bunch of them send me paragraphs of how apologetic they are. I'm like, you were mature. That's a true thing. When people say you're not mature enough to understand, sometimes adults are not mature enough. Being an adult doesn't mean being older. It means being at a mindset you start to understand and have compassion again. You know what I mean? A lot of people lose that. It's difficult to kind of keep just because it takes something very, very hard and traumatic for you to be able to experience a type of humbleness. You go to a country that's less poverty, you're going to love more of what you have. You go and see a family and a bunch of people that are close together and you don't have that, you're going to be humbled in the fact that you need to make sure you incorporate that in your life.
Yeah.
Shit like that's forming moments. I wouldn't trade any of my bad moments for anything.
For sure. Like, what you said really reminds me of this quote. I heard it in a Tyler Creator interview, but he got it from Pharrell. It was, don't grow old, grow up. So, like, basically just, like, you know, once you get old, don't just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just mentally, like, experience things and just...
Realize the world's not as shitty as it's supposed to be. We make it that way.
Exactly.
You know? If, like...
you make your world what you want it to be.
People always talk about the earth, like, if humankind wasn't on it, like, if we all just died right now, then the earth would be saved. No. Because this shit's still here. It's going to be here. The only thing we do is stop the assault of all the damage that's getting done to it. I'm like, but we overused and we overexposed the earth, and now we're doing it to people, and we're doing it to just the smallest things nowadays, and we're headed in a bad route a little bit. I think more people need to just hit the pipe once and not the crack pipe, but the weed pipe, and just decide, like, hey, I need to start caring about people once again.
Yeah.
Because you get a real sense of fullness and real sense of humbleness. A lot of stoners, the reason why they're stoned is because they can't function in this world today. It's too corrupt. Nobody sees it like that thing. You have to get another perspective of things, and I think too many people are one-sided.
That's the thing I hate about people too, when they're closed-minded, when, you know, they can't open their mind and think about other people's situations, think about, you know, how different things can influence different things. It's just like, I don't know, people that are still against marijuana, I just don't understand. It's just like...
You're so closed off to so much.
Yeah, plenty of studies that show, like, it actually truly does help people. It, like, if you're not doing it, what the fuck does it harm you?
Well, tackling from another aspect, that one guy I told you about that's playing a character, like, he came out and said it. He was like, he hates marijuana, and he smokes it every single day, but now he feels the factor, like, you've relied too much on it. He's become addicted. Because I asked him, I was like, it's a gateway drug. Is it? Like, it's not a gateway drug. He goes, no. He goes, it is. I'm like, what? I'm like, you're 100% for it, though. He goes, I hate it. It got me addicted to other things, heroin, coke, all these other things, because you're looking for something stronger. He goes, it's not like that for everyone. It isn't like that for everyone.
No,
the fact is, if you're going to experience, like, if you're going to shoot up a store, video games aren't going to push you to the point to shoot up a store. You had that intent anyway in your mind. It was deep down in there, dormant, but it awakened it. You know what I mean? When people say video games are violent, but they don't cause violence. That person's going to 100% more of the times. If a dude owns 100 knives, he probably either has some fascination with knives and he might end up using it later. Like, you might need to look at that guy a little bit closely. This guy experienced smoking weed every day, then getting addicted to different drugs to find a harder fix, to deal with the problems that he was facing psychologically. That's all you have to understand about somebody. Anything is bad in excess. You have to learn to consume at a correct rate.
And I feel like that's the thing that you hear a lot of times, like now in music and stuff. Like, I just heard this new album that just came out, and like one of the major topics in it was that, like, people are dealing with, like, depression and just other influences that affect their mental health in their life, and they turn to drugs because of it. You know, like, it's sad, but I mean, it's what people got to do to sleep.
I think it's the fact we're all looking for a way to cope. You know, it's hard. What would you suggest we could change?
That's a hard one.
Just understanding more. I feel like I've become more understanding and getting a lot more experience. I feel a little bit more humbled every single day by more podcasts I do.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, not everyone's going to get that experience. So, like, it's just the same people. I hate to say it, the same people that get offended over every little comment that you have to say. Like, those people obviously aren't open-minded. They get offended, and that's their one-track mind, you know? They're against you.
I think you have to be open to everything. You can't close off your mind from anything. And I think if anybody's going to take anything away from the podcast besides trying marijuana for once, it's just the idea, like, you need to try something and figure out if that's for you or not. And don't try and... If you're hurting somebody trying to do something you love, then that's something wrong in the first place, or the process you're doing is wrong. You need to focus on getting what you want and feel accomplished at the same time, not hurting anybody else in the process.
100%.
Just like growing it from a seed. it blossoms into a
Exactly.
beautiful plant of the cannabis variety. Thanks again for being on the podcast, and stay tuned for another episode.